When we talk about the heroes at the World Trade Center, often we forget about those who spent days combing through the debris in a desperate but unfortunately futile attempt to find their colleagues. Our next guest was one of them. He's Steve Mormino. He's a retired lieutenant with the New York Fire Department who arrived in Manhattan just after midnight on the night of 9/11 and worked there for the better part of 4 months. Steve, glad to have you here. First of all, the morning of 9/11, you were on duty, but you were not called there to the Trade Center. Tell us where you were and what you did for the next 4 months.
We covered a large area in the southern part of Brooklyn. Our response area pretty much tripled. All the companies were being pulled into the Trade Center. They needed manpower and strength. And my response area is one of the largest in the city to begin with, so they didn't want to take us out because they would have had to replace that as well. So we covered not only our area but the other two after that, the surrounding areas. I went there about midnight that night. They tried to prepare us for what we were about to witness and take part in, and you thought you were okay, and then all of a sudden it was, wow, overwhelming.
You know, we have talked to others who were there in the days after, searching for any signs of life in that rubble, and we've heard so many people, and they've all really said the same thing, that they were going there hoping, and then quickly they realized that there really wasn't much they could do. Was that also your sentiments that day?
Yeah, we went in with like a ball of fire. We thought for sure we were going to find people, that there were voids that were created in the collapse and people would still be alive and we can get to them. But when you looked at the magnitude of the collapse, it was quick to realize it wasn't going to happen.
Now, we've also heard about some of the health issues affecting the first responders. You unfortunately know all too well about that. Take us through some of your health situations and how you're doing now. And obviously this is becoming such a big deal because we're just now, 10 years later, starting to hear about a lot of these health issues.
Yeah, I was working and everything was okay, and I started to slow down a little bit. I thought it's because I was getting older and I was working with young guys, and but then I went for my company medical, my annual physical exam, and I couldn't pass the lung test. And the doctor told me that my lung capacity was diminishing, and they had records of how my lung capacity was going down, and basically pulled me offline and said, you can't wear a mask anymore and we can't be a firefighter.
That's what led to your retirement today, correct?
Exactly.
Well, I do want to point out to folks that even though you're retired, you're still doing a lot of great work in the community. He's actually in town in Loveland with their fire department, Loveland Sims Fire Department, to take part in some commemorations there. Tell us about that.
Today at between 4 and 6 p.m. at Nesbitt Park, there's going to be a memorial service there. Loveland has always done the right thing. They've never forgotten from the 1st anniversary to the 10th anniversary, and I'll be proud to take part in that service.
Well, Steve, thanks so much for your time this morning as well. Thanks to your service in New York City and to our country on a larger sense. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.